Thanks.
That's
for
definitely a
reminding
baby
me.
that got
Oh
dropped.
yeah, you're like so close.
Okay, is that how you're gonna do this segue?
Balls is crowning.
Topic?
Oh my god, no! Oh my god, I didn't mean for that.
Oh
Oh my
gosh.
god.
Did you not realize that's what came next?
I got the schedule right in front of me, and we got so off topic. I was like, I don't know where we're going with this next, but
I don't know. I forgot
fuck
already.
me.
What's going on? I don't know.
Don't worry, nobody
you'll
sent me
see.
that.
Go ahead, Shane. Do it.
I'm
curious how this is going
I'm gonna give this one to you.
I'm sorry. So, the Supreme Court of the United States.
Oh God.
I'm sorry. Decided to uphold
You're
the
killing
Texas
it.
6-week abortion ban.
You can't ever talk about Ashley again.
But this was accidental, though. Here's how Ashley would have done it. So, talking from someone who has too many babies, and if they stay in Texas, might have more.
I've been thinking about this for
she's
nine
like,
whole months.
SCOTUS upholds Texas 6-week abortion ban, which some say is bad.
Bandwidth.
That's how Ashley would have put it.
Oh.
Oh God, I did not mean to do that segue, but Ashley, can you take over?
No.
Why do women have to do this for you right now? Men are deciding what we should do.
I'm not that guy though. Women's rights. You can do the dishes and clean.
That's right.
And get
And go get a
hurt.
job.
And
Bleed
get
to
hurt,
death.
but you
And
know
work.
what? The man will be there to take you to the hospital when you need it.
And so you're
They
gonna
won't
be
need
here in this moment wherein I need you to make this transition and introduce the next
I
topic.
made the transition. Shit. Anyway,
Never want to move there anymore.
Texas has the most archaic ban, a 6-week limit, and it covers everything: incest, rape, you name it. If you cannot get an abortion past 6 weeks, now the next most restrictive law, I believe, it's one of the MIs, Mississippi or Missouri. I think Mississippi.
Someplace you don't want to go.
Exactly. And that next most restrictive, which was considered pretty restrictive before this, I believe is 20 weeks. Huge gap. Most women don't even know they're pregnant by 6 weeks.
Right.
Correct.
No,
And
you
so
think you
by
got like the post-summer weight, or you
by the
ate
s-
too many
yeah.
tacos. Like, what the hell?
And by the Supreme Court doing this, it's setting a
Or
precedent.
your
because-
cycle's off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Some people don't get their
Thanks,
period every
Paul.
month. You might get it
I
every
know.
month and
I
a
know how it is.
half,
Yep.
maybe 2 months.
Look at
You're
Balls
stressed
mansplaining.
out. You don't get your period for 3 months. You got
Balls is
mono.
married. He understands how that
He
goes.
does.
I'm
But-
learning.
But jokes
Balls
aside,
lives
like
with women.
Unfortunately.
the conservative judges all ruled in favor. Chief Roberts sided with the liberal minority on the court. This is being led in great part by Clarence Thomas, who was appointed by George H.W. Bush, who
Kill him.
one of his biggest, another person who during his confirmation was brought forward for what his sexual abuse of women, who President Joe Biden barely gave him a slap on the wrist because he was in charge of that hearing. I will digress on that. However, and led the confirmation. Whatever. He has had this mission to overturn Roe versus Wade his entire career. He's made no hiding of it, and now the stage is set for this to happen in state after state after state, and probably at the federal level. And this is the majority of Americans who support free choice, but the conservative minority in government who has manipulated the Supreme Court, i.e. not confirming Obama's, not even having a hearing for Obama's final nominee, but then rushing through Trump's final nominee before he was out of office with literally days left. This is what we get. So, especially the women. Thoughts?
Well,
Yeah, go ahead, Balls.
ironically, I
Sex.
think that the federal government they'll, if they really want to push it, they'll use the excuse that, oh, someone will just go to the next neighboring state and get it done there. And that's the excuse they'll use to try and push it across federal, as opposed to keeping it state to state. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying that's the avenue they're going to use.
Yeah.
You're right on that. And I think it's simply a cop out at this point that they want to institute it, and they're saying, they're like, oh, we can go over there. Like, we shouldn't have to do that. there are extenuating circumstances in some situations, and we should be allowed to do what we need to and do what we feel is right.
Can you imagine if you're like 16 and it's so hard for you to get away, or like you couldn't really afford to get condoms, or like some weird shit happened to you, you got attacked or molested or what? Like you have to like figure out how to get bus fare or God knows what to go as far away as possible, miss out on whatever job you might have to pay rent for a couple of days to like get an abortion, and then you have to take like a bus alone back. Like it's like torture and punishment for stuff that, like, even in the best case, like little angel woman scenarios, they want like people get raped, people get like all sorts of weird shit happen to them, and they have to be punished by this law. It makes no fucking sense. No one's trying to care about these babies after they're born anyway, so I don't get it.
I mean,
Yeah.
Sorry, Tati.
No, I totally agree. And you know what? This actually goes back to the last thing that you were talking about with sexual offenders and stuff like that. I think moments like these is what makes women so angry and so ready to not take any bullshit and so ready to, make
Destroy them.
yeah, make that scene, because not only like as a minority person, there's so many times where you can see your human rights being like played with, or like, your rights to making a choice. I mean, it's so weird because it was happening before it turned into law, and we know this, and we proved that, and that's why we made it a law and like made it, where people could actually do this legally. So it's just to go back, and I mean, yeah, I was looking up when you said 6 weeks. Most women don't even know at all that they're
No.
pregnant by then.
Going back to her child example, like imagine if you're 16, you don't understand what's happening to your body, you maybe are ashamed and you don't want to confront it yet. It does take time, and with Texas, you don't have that time to process anything or take action.
I think even as a grown woman, you don't even know what to make a choice in one way or another yet, so
I mean, I can say my own experience. Like TMI time, like I have always been extremely irregular. I get it like every month and a half, 2 months, and like that could be like half a baby right there. I wouldn't have known. So
yeah,
like, if you're
that's
used
already,
to, like,
they
a
would have
weird
said you have to have a
cycle,
baby now that you thought that you were just 2 weeks late on your, period.
Yeah.
I would have had to like sell it on the black market or something. That would have just
What-
really
Madonna
been
would have taken it. You're
terrible.
good.
What'll end up happening is people will resort to back alley deals or whatever. They're
Then
gonna
you
do
get
whatever they have to
destroyed.
do to, of course, end up. Women are gonna die, unfortunately, and stupid stuff like that's gonna happen. They're gonna try to make the fines through the roof or something like that to try to stop them,
It's just
and then
not
it's gonna
fair.
be a
You can
batter
even-
of.
You can bring up the Uber driver who brings someone to a place to get an
Sure.
abortion in Texas.
Yeah.
You
That
can bring
whole
up-
thing is just like
you can
psycho.
bring up in charges. And even
Yeah.
I saw something where I took, I think, 13 hours for the first person.
I just don't
Die.
get why they even,
Not being
it's
able to get
always, the decision always starts and stops at the woman in the situation too. And we all know that vasectomies are reversible. They're safe, they're way safer than
And no one acts like those
What-
exist, but
What
we're
did I
willing to
miss?
charge other people $10,000.
I
Well,
mean,
I'll even go back.
if we're really worried about people having children and not killing them and having them when they're ready, then, well, that too, if you don't have insurance, you can't get some of these services that would offer safe sex, like as far as protection is concerned.
Or even just getting a
Or-
fucking appointment. Like, you know how hard it is to get a doctor's appointment in general. They make it hard as fuck for you to get an appointment, and they push it out past 6 weeks. Like, you have to wait a long time just to get an appointment in another town. And then before you know it, you're like 4 months pregnant. Like, I think 4, 5, 6 months, that's like, dang, that sucks that you had to do it then. 6 months has to be the cutoff. It's just out of control, ridiculous, in my opinion. Even though I don't
Well,
wanna
I
have
think in most
kids,
cases,
but, like,
when it
shit
comes
happens.
past like 20 something weeks, like what, 22, as long as it has to be medically necessary. Like there's something
Like
that's going to
COVID
affect
or
the
something.
the mother or the baby itself.
I
Yeah.
can't do math so
Like-
well.
like
But all I
even
know, some
Jehovah's
places they used
Witnesses.
to let you do it like at 6. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not okay.
Yeah, 20 weeks
You
is
don't
5
even-
months. About.
Yeah.
Like
Give or
even
take 2
Jehovah's
weeks.
Witnesses allow for abortions for ectopic pregnancies and things like that, and they're very strict about
Yeah.
blood transfusions,
Yeah.
anything like that. Even
Yeah, they
they
are.
understand like there's a point. And
Yeah, there are others. Yeah. No.
I just want to know when it'll be okay to stop thinking that it's okay to play around with people's lives in that way. You know,
So
when
bizarre to
this
me.
when this Bible Belt conservative majority white majority male movement, I can't even say majority male because a lot of women are behind us in Texas, sadly.
They are.
And but that
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 even that gets
trumpet
me
movement,
that even gets
You
me
have
more
to.
angry. It's like, what the fuck,
Yeah.
lady? You should
These
know.
people
Like,
literally think that babies are getting murdered. And so what I try to do to think about how they feel is I imagine how I feel when I think about people eating cats. And like in my heart, I'm like, how could you ever do this? They're just so precious and beautiful. Like there's no scenario we should ever be hungry enough. I'd rather die on a deserted island than eat my cat. Like you have to like find the thing that you care about the most. And like
Well, I mean,
I think we're all
a-
city
as
people.
so for me, I'm actually one of probably those crazy people that do believe that life starts at conception. Like that's for me. So for me, abortion is not an option. But I'm also and people have been saying this a lot, so I guess I'll just quote it. Right, I recognize America is not a theocracy. Right, I'm not going to sit here and force my beliefs on everybody else. I don't
Mhm.
expect it to be run as things are run in the Bible, right? That's a way for me to govern myself, right? That it's my
Exactly.
choice to follow these rules, right? And so I'm not going to then force someone or subjugate somebody else to these sets of rules because that's what I believe for me. And I think that everybody's brought up some really good points. Issues with rape, like people just not knowing within 6 weeks is a huge thing. And then everybody says that they're pro-life, but we don't have anything in place for all these babies that are unwanted, right?
Yeah.
Our foster system, our adoption system, it sucks. And so
Torture.
you're pro-life, but what about these lives that nobody's caring for? You're only
Yeah.
pro-life until the baby comes out, and now after the
Exactly.
baby's out,
And
you really don't care. So
Or
that
when the
pisses me
baby's
off.
having a baby. No one
Yeah.
cares
Right, or
about
if
the
the
life
baby's
of the
having a
person
baby,
having the
nobody
baby.
And the
cares.
same people choosing for women, taking away their rights, are the same people who are supporting these wars that are then sending the babies 18 years later to die as cannon fodder to help corporations and the government get richer off their backs. And I will also go back to all the different examples you cited, be it incest or rape. What about just a mistake? Like, I don't know about all of us on this panel, but I didn't wrap it up every time in high school. I did stupid fucking things.
Right.
This system is rigged so that especially minority, but also with this women of all colors are held. Their lives could be affected in a way by one mistake as a child that others aren't. We've all seen the disproportionate prison sentences that go to certain segments of the population and not to others for the same mistake. The system will take advantage of a simple mistake, and sometimes you make a simple mistake and you get pregnant. And if you have beliefs such as Darius's, where you can try to work with it, and do so. I don't love the idea of abortion. There are different ways that it's your choice to be able to do it, and yet they're taking away that choice, and it's going to disproportionately impact people who can't then go to the next state over, and usually that's minorities, and not always, but usually. And I will say, as someone who hates the idea of abortion, I think that life starts at conception as well, but I hate the idea of it, but I also know how absolutely vital it is for people
Yeah.
in so many situations. And as someone whose ex chose to abort my child, we were in a relationship, and balls was a sounding board for me during that very difficult time. And it was around the time that his wife was pregnant with their first child. I didn't have a say in that, and that hurt. There wasn't even a conversation with me before the decision was made, and that was made for a very, very complicated time, because while I knew it was ultimately her decision, I wish there had been. She called me up to tell me on the phone while I was at work, and it was like, okay, now that's a testament just to the individual, not to the whole situation, but just knowing that I would love this kid, I wanted that kid at the time, and in retrospect, it was most likely the right decision on her part. It just sucks. It's hard for the men out there who actually do care, and yet these people making these laws and taking the rights away will cite something like that as a reason. Men should have a say, blah blah blah. But the good men, the men who get it, understand that while it hurts and as painful as it was for me, and it was devastating for me, I still paid for half of that abortion because I knew it was my responsibility, and I knew it wasn't my choice. And the good men do get it, and these people will then use that as a justification to take away these rights, and they fuck them. But yeah,
It's so nice to hear the other perspective, not that,
I know.
like, not to know that you went through something
Yeah.
Yeah.
terrible, but like
Right.
that's exactly like how I feel people should see it. Like I think the reasons, like, just because you think that people should be able to access abortion treatment, I don't know what, like, doesn't mean that you think they should be doing it willy-nilly. Like,
No.
I don't
Yeah.
want to have kids.
It
I'm gonna
should
do
be
everything I
an
can not
option.
to have a baby. Like, I don't want to kill a baby. Like, I have nightmares thinking about, like, oh my God, in my dream, I'm like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. I'm 6 months pregnant. What am I gonna do with this fucking thing? And I'm like terrified about how I'm gonna have a baby, and like I can't kill it. I'm gonna have to give it away. And like
That's to abort this
that's what,
goat.
but like my
I was like,
like,
let's go.
nightmares are made out of, and like just because you think that it should be accessible doesn't mean that you think it shouldn't be happening all of the
Yeah, right.
time.
Yeah, it's not a
Like,
form of birth control.
Dire consequences, an accident, like the condom broke or something, your birth control didn't work, or it's gonna kill you and you don't want to die. Who's gonna take care of the baby if you're alone in this world? And I don't know, you're too young, you can't afford to have a baby. Like, I'm sorry, like I don't think of it even as like a poverty line thing. And this is probably coming from a point of privilege, but if you can't afford to take care of a child, I don't think you should have one. It's a dick thing to say.
It's not.
It's like,
It-
well, like,
it's-
like
it's
you can't
not.
say like you're too poor to love or something, right? Like,
Right.
like maybe they would love the baby, maybe they care about it, maybe they could like teach it a bunch of shit. But like, if you can't afford to feed your kid or yourself,
Yeah.
if you're like a crust punk on the street, like you shouldn't have a dog, and you shouldn't have a baby either.
The cats.
No cats
No cats
either.
either. Cat, that's already a given.
You can have a gerbil though.
If you have a
because,
plant,
You know.
Yeah,
water,
plant.
sunlight, water.
We
sunlight,
don't-
water.
I don't need any more rodents on the streets of New York. All right, I don't need it.
That's a good
Ironically,
idea.
They were swimming.
the like Shane mentioned the Bible thumping, whatever, belt, yada yada. Similar people have the same mindset. These are the same people that have the mindset that abstinence is the best education when it's not. And really,
But those are the people whose kids end up pregnant, right?
Yeah.
We all know the pastor's kid, daughter,
Oh.
pastor's daughter or pastor's son has gone out there and gotten somebody
Populated
pregnant or
those
have gotten
worlds.
pregnant at 16 years old. So
They're
Yeah,
always
so
the
it's
wildest
like-
one. Just
Yep.
filled
They
with
really
that.
are.
It's
that,
just,
that
I just think
education
it's,
doesn't work.
I just
you
think
know?
it's interesting that they would only find a solution in what they decide to do with women, though we all
Always.
know that it kind of, takes two to make a baby.
No one makes men take birth control. Like, why hasn't that been invented?
They haven't
Hey,
even
if-
studied. They probably haven't even studied
If
that.
it was out, I'd take it.
I wish there was.
Right.
I honestly,
What
I
would
wish there
men-
was.
Yeah, my wife always
what
forgot
would the
somehow.
male birth
Yeah,
control-
So-
let it change your hormones and see how you feel afterwards.
Lay off me, I'm starving.
Like I'm
It's-
just taking this just to regulate.
I mean,
myself.
they can get
Regulate my
Viagra for
cycle.
free.
Recycle
You
every
guys
20
can get
minutes.
Viagra for free, but
You
You
can?
can't get Viagra for free.
Let me
No,
write all this
that's,
down.
That's
They
that's
have
not true.
checked, Todd.
That's not true.
At White Castle. At
Listen,
White Castle, you can.
Over
What?
40, we all know whether or not we need that option at some point. It's just there, just waiting for us.
It's on the edge right now. It's here.
But it's
but it's just like you see where the focus is. So we can
of
focus on
course.
how I can, keep on doing it, and then we can just focus on how to make women have their babies.
Yeah, they
I mean,
don't
I-
help men shoot blanks, do they?
Tati, what's the other
Hmm.
option then? What do you think? What's the like?
What's the other option?
Yeah, I'm
Um,
not saying they're right 6 weeks. I think that's horrible.
No,
I
the other
completely
the other
agree.
option is to solve it if you wanted to solve it. If you wanted to give someone a vasectomy, that is totally reversible when he is ready to have children with the woman that he decides to have children with, which would force them to then make sure that they're making a decision together. Then you guys would have children with no problems. There would be a lot less abortions, right?
But
But to
What
give
age is
men-
that at, though?
But to
So
give
yeah,
men,
so 16-year-olds, like, I'll tell you right now, vasectomy after 10 years,
Why-
I heard it's not reversible. But I agree, it's a lot more.
why?
It's less
so if-
intrusive and a lot easier
you-
to reverse than a tubal ligation.
His-
Of
I agree.
course it is. And I mean, if you're going to talk about when's the age to do a circumcision? So
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean,
Newborn.
it's
they don't
no,
know.
it's
I think they're
different
a little
because one
different,
is
but yeah.
it's different because one is beneficial for you and the other one's beneficial for the
Well,
woman.
I think any kind of tying tubes or vasectomy at a young age is a very risky.
They usually
area.
don't do
wouldn't
that.
do it
They
at a-
won't
I
tie
wouldn't
do it
tubes
at a young
unless
I
unless
think-
I read stuff like your
It's
penis
medical
could
reasons.
leak for years and stuff. Like, can we just do like give men the pill, like make a pill for men,
hell yeah.
continue with all the other female birth control, but like let's get the technology to that point for men so that
Yeah.
they can hold their weight, and then also
but
continue with the
I-
condom.
I mean,
I
that's
don't
that's
think
always been the
that-
male
but that's
tradition.
but
The male
continue with
responsibility
the
was the
abortions.
condoms.
yes,
Continue with the
but that's
abortion.
Totally, but you don't know
But
how
that's-
many nowadays are just saying, no, let's just do it wrong.
I mean, let's face it. Men
Yeah.
and women alike are like, let's fuck the condom. Let's just do it. Like you get in the heat of the moment. People just do that. They just do it.
They do.
They just do it. And
That's
like,
why you come
Crazy.
prepared.
yeah, but also here's the thing: you can come prepared. I mean, like I said,
Keep
going back to the mistake thing.
abortions legal.
Yes.
yes.
I think
because
that's
at the same
solution
time, no
ultimately.
matter what happens, it is
Hey,
always
bar-
the woman's responsibility to somehow take care of it.
Because
Yeah.
it's in their gut, and also like pay bartenders more to kick people out when they're too drunk. Have free condoms everywhere.
Those are the best customers, so you have to let them.
Saran wrap
Says
on
the
every
bartender.
corner.
It's all about money.
I don't know. I think medical procedures on too young is a problem, but I get it for older people who are like, you know what, shit. If there's nothing,
I just think it's a lot of time we make excuses for things when we are always making it the woman that's responsible for the brunt of it.
Just
yeah.
make men take the pill, and then
Yep.
they have to all
there
get
needs to be a pill
get
for men.
fat.
Believe me.
Make a pill for men. Done.
I will
Just,
say
like
that
make it Viagra all in one.
the people there's a misconception I found amongst a lot of women that are like men wouldn't be responsible if they wouldn't do it. They don't care to do it.
They would.
9.9999999 out of 10 men that I've ever met or heard of would
So
be like,
German.
sign me the fuck up because I don't got to worry about no babies.
I feel like most
Give
of them
me
you know
that
are
pill.
married.
Hell
Give
yeah.
So,
me
I mean,
that
I felt like
pill.
there was a creation that already stopped that, and guys don't take it.
Marijuana?
Condoms.
Marijuana, y'all.
Oh.
No, that's not taking it. That's not
No.
taking it.
It makes us so much.
Yeah. And like Shane said, there's
Because-
showing my hand here. There's definitely been instances where like it's like, oh, I don't have one. It's like, who cares? Just go ahead and do it.
And both choose to do that.
You
But
know,
if you-
that's
Yes. I mean,
if you
it's
have a
all-
pill,
it's
it's harder
all-
to say, oh, no protection. Then the disease thing comes into play. But like,
Yeah.
right.
No
That-
matter what,
those
it's an
pesky
informed
things.
Get the
decision.
cream.
No matter what situation we're in, if the guy has a pill, if the guy has a condom, the girl has a condom, the girl has birth control, girl want to get abortion.
Both people
All
have
of
it.
them.
It'd be nice.
that would be nice. That would
Men
be
should
nice.
have
Safe,
a pill.
y'all.
You're right,
not
Ashley.
But the problem is
You're
that
right.
society has put effort into the women's pill and not the man's pill, while putting the same veracity that they put on the women's pill
The
on to take away
women's
their rights.
pill
But
gives
wait,
them
wait.
like
And
cancer.
Didn't the pill
and
come out in like
stuff.
the 60s or 70s?
Yeah, it's
that's
gotten
what-
a
When
little
it was
bit
like women's
better.
liberation and it was like empowering to have the
And giving
birth
them
control pill?
cancer and a bunch of problems.
I'm not saying
Yeah,
it was.
wasn't that called like ephyllis?
And
or
yeah, and it makes them can it
Yeah.
cause infertility and stuff like
Probably
that
blood
Back then,
on,
yeah.
in women?
Everything else.
Yeah.
And they were kind of
All of
beta
it
testing
fucks
it back
you up
then.
to death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all
Wait a
gives you
second.
cancer.
And smoking's
Well,
a
no.
great appetite suppressant.
It's in the Billy Joel song. We didn't start the fire. It's a no go. I don't know if I'm saying it right though.
We didn't start the
Okay,
fire.
So,
Yeah, it's in there.
hold on 2 seconds. So I just, looked it up on the internet just to see if there's any like birth control for
Europe.
guys.
Europe. I think in
There
Europe.
is a NCI,
Heart
which is the Male Contraceptive Initiative that
Okay.
I just found. Apparently, they believe in reproductive autonomy for all. and they're aiming to empower couples to give the resources they need to choose the family planning path.
What do they do to men? They
what
stick a pipe cleaner in there?
I think it's just kind of get the process started.
But that's good for family units.
What do they do to them,
Individual
though?
single men should have a pill that they're responsible for taking as well.
They're gonna
Period.
forget all day long. Where are my glasses? Where's the remote? Where's the batteries? Where's the thing? They're gonna forget.
You'd think a pill you take every day, you'd remember, right?
Not the
Hold on,
memory
let me
pill.
ask my wife.
Anytime I've been on medication, I've remembered to take it. Anytime I've been on medication, I've remembered.
You're
to take it.
responsible, Shane. You're not the
I mean, there are
norm.
people who forget. I mean, I've had many girlfriends who are like, "Oh shit, I haven't taken the pill in 3 days. It's okay. I'll
He's
take
got
them
it.
all today."
I got you, girl.
Well,
So,
Down
would
the
you-
stairs.
You
There is
can't
a
take
rule.
2 today and then 2 tomorrow.
So,
So
But
there is a rule
you need to
depending
back
on
up.
how many you miss.
Yep.
You can do double in 1 day. So
Back
that is.
'em up.
I read that booklet forward and backwards. Trust me.
You take a papaya and some parsley and just wrap it up and
Turn
If
it
you
upside down.
miss one in week
So-
1 and 1 in week 4.
Poor Tater's
you
trying to get a real
get-
point across.
No.
yeah, because I wanted to give insight in the fact that, okay, so if men were going to get the pills, right? That means they would have to go to the doctor. How often do you guys see the doctor?
I went 3 weeks ago because I hadn't gone in
Yes.
like 6 years.
irresponsible.
I mean, it is true. Men don't like going to the doctor. It's
Well, yeah,
just-
because you guys have to bend over and talk.
It's inconvenient.
It's not
Ugh.
even that.
Whoa,
That's
that's
when
way
they
too
gotta
many
wait.
fingers right there.
Men will
Becca,
live,
that's not how it
men will
goes.
live with it. Like women always think men can't handle pain. Men's bodies feel pain too, and we will live with that pain and an ailment for as long as we can possibly bear it before we go. So there is absolute truth in that, Tati. Men don't like going to the doctor. However, I think most men rather not pay for that baby than not go to that doctor and get that pill. I think. I could be wrong.
You would say
like
that
okay.
about making sure that they were, healthy and making sure that they would, like that they don't have any ailments because they wait so long in between going. And,
We
Sometimes
don't care
they're
about it.
scared
We
to
all
go
wanna
to the
just
doctor.
die.
It's like as long as like my
It's just
shoulder's
something
been
that-
killing me for like a while now, like a year. And I'm
You
like,
just
you know
tough
what?
it out.
My arm hasn't fallen off. I'm okay. So I just keep going.
And I have another arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It fucking falls off.
He's like, now I don't need it for anything since I'm married now, so I can let this one just fall off. It's okay.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
I don't have to train myself with the other one.
I've never done that with my left hand. Let's come on.
Ah,
Oh, it's your left arm that's bothering you? Oh,
the
okay.
same
The left
ar-
shoulder.
the same
Damn, you got
hand you
lucky.
shake hands with. That's disrespectful.
He's like the same arm that has the ring on it might fall
That means
off.
if you drive in the future, it'll just be one arm driving.
I only
Wait,
drive with
what
this
about
arm
this,
anyway.
Tater? What about if there was a pill for men, which I'm in complete agreement that they need to put resources into that.
Inject
Granted, I don't know how that
them
would
once a
work.
month. That's
There's a
all.
law that they could put into place that anyone who's choosing to be sexually active, and I don't agree with this law, but at least it would be targeting both people, both genders. They have to go to the doctor. They have to do this if they're going to Now
No
I
one's
don't
gonna-
agree that
yeah.
should happen. But at
No, I
least
mean,
then
I'll
it
meet the
wouldn't-
neighbor next
Yeah.
door, and we're not going to be talking about. Did you go get that?
What? No, I'm not
No,
talking about you
like-
talking to anybody. I'm talking about
No, I meant like you think like okay, so how would they enforce?
Show
that?
me your
How would they
papers.
enforce? Yeah, like how would
See, I
they
went to the
enforce
doctor.
that
I'm
we
not
would
saying
have
you would.
sex
do it
It
now.
only
wasn't
if
well
he has
thought.
a
It
pill?
wasn't a well thought out argument. But
Yeah, I
I'm
was
just
like,
saying.
are they gonna have it at
at
every
least-
bar?
I mean,
You got your
they
vax
can't
card?
even-
You got
You
your
can't-
sex
yeah.
card?
They're not even enforcing masks, so they're not
Oh,
going
it's
to
like your
enforce that.
vaccine card.
That's
You can't
true.
go to the place
Yeah.
to pick somebody up, but then like it's not gonna stop anybody on Grinder. But I guess that's not. There's no pregnancy.
Well, I don't think they got to worry about that on Grinder.
Listen, you can't stop
Right,
fucking.
balls?
You can't stop fucking.
I can't get in the way of love. I heard you, Balls. You can't stop.
Yeah,
love.
Can't stop
right.
fucking.
Darius is like, glad
No
balls
matter
is
how
here,
hard
else
you
that
try,
joke
you
would have
just
went to
can't
me.
stop it.